What is up? Part two. It's your boy Goodman, and I'm back with another video. All right, so on our last video, we talked about what it takes to beginning of the healing process. How it's about identifying that you have a problem. It's about identifying, it's starting to cut off those old narratives and starting to have a platform. And then also then your accountability and how you are now in control of taking the weight of all your decisions and starting to make that shift. And then fourth is slowly ingrading the resistance as a slow burn to the changes that is happening. So if you are here at part two, but you haven't seen part one, I would suggest go check out part one because it goes more in depth in this, because this is level two. Level two is going to go a little more in depth about these things. So having the foundation of the thoughts of how I'm breaking it down would be easier. So go check that out, man. Just come on back. We got some good stuff going on over here. Okay. So level two. So level two is by far, level two was hard for me. So the first thing is your emotions. Oh my goodness. For me, my emotions always took me out of the game of life. If I was like, nah, I don't feel like getting up in the morning, and I'll be like in the bed, and I do not get up. I'll be in the bed for 3 or 5 days. Depressed, haven't brushed my teeth, haven't washed my ass, and just in complete amount of pain. And it's okay. It's okay to be going through that, but it just sucks when you have so much responsibility, and let alone don't have no kids or something. It's just like, man, the weight of the world is on you based around the things that you are subscribed to. So having this part of your healing is going to be extremely difficult, but the level of power that you have by creating a foundation will make it easier to even make transformations when you have made a ton of decisions in your life that did not lead to the growth of you. Your emotions is one of the hardest things, because when you're behind your eyes, and if I'm just sitting here and I'm like, dang it, I do not want to do this one action, especially if it's something for my growth. I feel like going there and eating ice cream. I feel like busting one. I feel like calling my ex-girlfriend and telling her I love her, but I really don't, but I just want to have sex. Like your heart will feel something, and then your brain will shut off and do whatever it wants. It won't follow. Your emotions have so much power because it's so much energy in that motion that's creating decisions for you in your life. So this is very pivotal for your next level of growth, is to identify that you have every right to sit and enjoy your emotions because it's a part of your human experience. But you must understand that sometimes when you feel a certain way, you must alchemize that emotion and turn it into creation and the power to make change. Now, is it easy? Hell no. Even for me and where I'm at with it, it's still hard as hell because it's a part of what I'm controlling, this vessel that is speaking to you today. So what I would give you in this, because this is not easy whatsoever, when you are feeling a certain type of way, there's this thing that I've learned through my men's training, and it was giving yourself low-hanging fruit. So let's say, for example, you are feeling really anxious about something and you're wanting to just like, I need to smoke, or I need to freaking distract myself, and I need to scroll for 10 hours. That first and foremost, I'm going to give you this. when it first starts to hit you, you have to remind yourself that, okay, what's happening? You have to start to question what's going on in your body. You have to become 3D conscious. I mean, 4D conscious. Okay, I'm feeling an emotion. Why? Where is it coming from? Okay, it's coming from my chest. I'm struggling with it. It's heavy. I want to freaking get out of this situation. But you remind yourself that, hey, this energy and motion is going to eventually leave. It's going to subside and it's going to calm down and go away once the situation or the thing that I'm creating resistance for goes away. It's going to go. So if you can give yourself some low-hanging fruit, low-hanging fruit is nothing more than something simple that you can do that keeps you reminded and aligned to be able to have the strength to beat the mountain of those emotions that are coming in. So if my discipline or my healing aspect of me is something that has to do with my standards or the way that I want to show up for myself, and I want to show up by cleaning my room, first thing I can always do is make my bed because it's a low hanging fruit. It's 2 covers, it's 2 pillows. I throw it all on there. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that anxiety and that pain that I was feeling, that was like, oh, it's so overwhelming. I have a more of a grip on it now because I did something while I was feeling that high amounts of energy that was trying to take me out of what I was learning to be accustomed to doing in my healing journey. That's a pivotal part in this, is knowing that you have certain tools that you have to implement and systems in play to start to helping you in the right direction to get out there and do what you've been wanting to do. Because a lot of the times we're not going to have the strength unless we set ourselves up for success and make it easier for ourselves when we are at the pinnacle of pain and suffrage. If we do not make things simple for ourselves or set the version of us of tomorrow ready for today's hardships, we're not going to be able to push through. We're going to constantly struggle and make these decisions that move us backwards in our lives. So dealing with the emotions is probably one of the hardest parts because it's the thing that you feel the most. And then once you feel the most, you're going to take an action. And like your thoughts, yes, you can have bad thoughts, but if your feelings get into the bad thoughts, that's when you start making really bad decisions. But your emotions and your thoughts can be empty and your emotions can be heavy as hell. You're going to be moody. You're going to make haste and quick decisions just to get that feeling off of you. So that's the reason why honing in on your emotions and creating certain ways to pay attention or to protect them, even if it's removing yourself from environments or dealing with family or friends that just don't seem to resonate with this type of emotion because you're changing, but they're exciting your fight or flight or your ability to not have emotional clarity. You're just going to constantly keep making the same decisions, and you're just going to keep spinning the cycle and living what I quote unquote call hell, because heaven and hell is nothing more than a concept of the mind and where you are consciously living at. So if you are someone who identifies that in their healing journey, their emotions is taking them completely out of the changes and the grind and how it takes time to make this shift, then you have to quote unquote not incubate in it, but set yourself up for success by setting yourself up with, hey, I need low hanging fruit in my life. You know, when I'm emotional, I usually always give myself some alcohol or some weed or you know, or if you got a device and you're watching corn, it's like you're constantly making sure that it gets harder for you to get close to these things that know that that is your default. Mine, for example, was video games. And the hardest part, and the reason why I'm actually talking to you guys today, is because I put it away. If I didn't, and it's taken me about 5 days to really even get on to doing this because I'm having so much resistance between watching it on YouTube and doing all these other stuff. It's taking my emotions. I feel it in my chest. I'm like, oh, I just want to sit there and dissociate from life and all its pains. But I'm so much more present because I'm doing the work to not excite my emotions towards something that doesn't help me to create the progress that I'm looking for. So if you are someone who is trying to do the alchemizing and healing, you must protect the emotions that you are experiencing or feeling. And also you have to protect the systems that you need to create to put in play so then you can have the life that you're looking for, because you will not survive doing this without any systems in play. And on top of that, having your connection with source and being attentive to the environments that you put yourself in, because it will always lead you back to square one. So, and actually, I got one more part to actually add into this. If you're someone who struggles with crying, I always talk to my men and always be like, hey, do you cry? And he's like, no, man, crying's for pussies and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, crying has been the most healthiest thing I've ever discovered in my life. When I'm struggling and something's heavy on my life, giving myself the ability to let it go, man, you have this ability to just like hone in on everything that just feels heavy in your body, mind, and soul. You start to drop it off. Your heart starts to beat a little extra, and the glow of life just starts to get so much brighter. So if you aren't someone who knows how to release these emotions, or know how to, take a pillow and scream into it, or take a punching bag and unleash these energies in motion, you're not going to be able to get through it as well, because a lot of the times we have to take actions towards releasing. I had a woman I was working with, and I had her work with me by punching my hands. I would put my torso on her feet, and I let her kick me off, and I let her scream at the top of her lungs to help her release that anxiety and that emotion from working with me. And that was one of the most beautiful things I ever got to see. Was the fact of the matter is that a lot of the times we need to move that energy in our lives. And if we do not do that while also setting up ourselves with these systems, and also paying attention to our emotions and seeing where they're coming from and talking to our bodies, our minds, and our souls, it's going to be a hard time getting through these next chapters that you're going through when you want to make this change. But it takes time, energy, and effort to get there. And it's up to you, and also setting yourself up with accountability partners to be able to help you get there. Now, if you need an accountability partner, you can send me a DM and we could talk about my coaching program. But until then, find someone in your life who wants to see you succeed, that you can find vulnerability and comfortability in your emotions. And I know it's not easy if you're a man, but do your best to find someone, because there's someone who can understand with you. All right. So this is Goodman. Here's chapter 2 of healing and alchemizing. And stay tuned for part 3, because it's about to get lit. All right. Talk to y'all later.